What are the 5 things that your realtor should be doing for you to help you find a home?
Let's dive in.
Let's dive in on real talk about real stuff and real estate.
So there are many things that your buyer's agent, well, we're doing specifically buyer's agent here, will and should do for you. But here's just a few that we feel encompass, or it's like a umbrella for the many things that would be under that category.
Yeah, so if you're looking for an agent to help you find your dream home, these are the things that we recommend. They should at least be doing these things. So
yes, make sure you know.
Right, exactly. So what's the first one, Kelsey? You know a lot about this. You do it all the time.
Yes. So I am a firm believer in the boring name of buyer consultation. So what does that mean? It is ideally the first meeting that you have with your realtor, or if you're interviewing multiple realtors or whatever the case may be, where the agent is sitting down with you, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, and finding out your goals, your likes, your dislikes, the areas you like, and then also explaining the escrow process. And if you haven't met with a lender yet, most agents can go over very basic lending things. What's your down payment options? I can give you a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like vague idea of how much money you're going to need for the purchase. And then you'll want to dive into that a lot deeper with your lender. But that's the basics of what we would go over, as well as what your agent's going to do for you, their duties. And
yeah, I mean, it's called a buyer consultation, right? It's to go over everything from A to Z in the home buying process. We try not to overwhelm you and have it go on for hours. It's usually a 20 or 30 minute appointment. Yep. And it's basically just like when you sit down with your financial advisor, if you do that, like I did the other day. All right, how much longer do I need to work? Just so that you know
it's goals,
what the plan is.
Yeah. And if you're like, I would need to know if you are planning on only staying in your first home for 2 years or 5 years, or you want something that is going to last you for 10 years. I mean,
the consult is going to be able to help you navigate your way through the process of buying a home. It is your biggest investment. Yes. So it's extremely important to have a knowledgeable realtor that can tell you all sorts of things. So going into maybe number 2, or let's go to number 3, educating you on the future resale value, for example.
Right.
So if you're buying in a neighborhood with an HOA or a 2-story home, sometimes those are a little harder on resale depending on the neighborhood.
Busy street.
I know you have too, talked people out of buying homes in certain locations that might cause a problem later.
Yep.
For example, like a really busy corner.
Yeah.
Usually though, they're getting it at a pretty decent price
but then they have to understand that they're also going to sell at a decent price.
Right. They're not going to get the same price as the guy that's in the cul-de-sac versus being on the busy corner. Yep. So just educating, like, this is a great home, but here's some of the obstacles. Like you said, if they're going to be, usually people live in their house 5-7 years, at least the first one. We're seeing that people are staying longer,
yes,
but
we are.
First one's around 5 to 7 years. So what you're going to have to deal with when you go and sell it. So just educating you on areas of your town, what to look for in home inspections, what's important, what's not important, because, you can have some things that seem like a big deal on the home inspection that aren't.
That's just an easy fix. Yeah.
Yeah. And then things that are a big deal that you really have to watch out for. So I think having someone that can educate you about the home that you're buying.
Yes. And I think the more that kind of goes into the buyer consultation, as well as the more that you know things like that ahead of time, the less surprises happen and the less emotional roller coaster you'll have during the process if you're not taken by surprise.
Well, you had said that you will explain to your clients if they're in a certain price point that, hey, you're probably going to have to bid over asking versus the people that you didn't get to have that conversation with. They were shocked when they had to do that or did not want to do that, and then they lost the home. But by the second or third time, they're like, then okay, we get it.
And it's like, I don't want you to have to make 2 or 3 offers to get that, to understand. I want to have a meeting with you, explain, and then have you be prepared. I mean, during COVID, I was saying, if you're if your limit is 450, then we need to be looking at like 400 to 415, knowing you're going to have to bid this house
Right.
up $20,000. So just knowing that in
And
advance.
also knowing when they don't have to bid up a home.
Yes.
Telling them,
just
look,
as important.
you don't have to go over on this home because maybe it's been on the market for 30 days
Yep.
and there's no other offers. So then of course you might have a different strategy. So also being able to strategize with your client so that you can get them the best possible deal.
Because depending on the buyer, I have certain buyers who are looking for a deal or they need a closing credit or something like that. And that's going to be a different type of home that we're looking for. We're going to be looking at those homes that are on the market for 30 days or longer. And I want to have the chance to explain that to them because they don't know. But most buyers wouldn't think about that.
Right.
Or the person who's like, no, we have this specific criteria. We don't care what we need to bid over to get it. This is what we want. So it's just important for your realtor to know that in advance. And if they're not taking the time to do that,
Right.
next.
Yeah. It's going to be a longer process and you might miss out
A little
on
more grueling.
a home that you really wanted.
Number
B.
3, BC4. Off-market properties. So this, in our opinion, is kind of market by market. There are a lot of bigger markets than Chico that do a lot of off-market deals. And it's someone in that type of environment might be more willing to sell off-market. In Chico, we don't have a ton of off-market opportunities. But when you work with someone who's on a team, we know of our own listings, even sometimes within our brokerage, and we can let our clients know in advance what type of home is coming out, the neighborhood it's going to be in.
Right. Or like Jill was just saying, like digging into her database, she has someone that wants a pool. Who do I know that I've sold a home to over the last 10 years that has a pool that might be ready to move on to a different home? Because usually in that time frame, they are ready to move on. They realize, I don't want a pool anymore.
Yeah,
Their kids
absolutely.
are grown up and nobody's using the pool. So like digging into your database. And when you do work with a team also, they have a larger database, right? Because there's more agents on the team. So just trying to dig and or even calling around neighborhoods that have pools. Sometimes it is calling off market properties in a specific neighborhood. So if you want to live in I want to live by Bidwell Park or Sierra View School, then it would be, your agent should be calling those homeowners to see if anybody's interested in selling. Because who knows, maybe somebody is thinking of selling and just hadn't got around to it. So
absolutely. And there's so many different ways to do that. Like the agent can voicemail drop, they can do calling house by house, they could door knock,
right?
They could mail letters. I mean, there's a million ways to dig around for off-market opportunities.
And then maybe there's still other things. I think this is number 4. So maybe this is going to be 4 things that you do instead of 5. But one is helping you pick your lender.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it is tough to navigate. Should you go online? Should you work with a local lender? Right
Your
now,
bank.
right. Your bank or a not savings and loans, but the credit union. Yes. Those are tough. Credit unions are tough. Not to say that it doesn't work, but they are tougher because it just takes a little longer. But helping you pick the right lender, what we're seeing right now that's really popular are brokerages. The difference is that they can go out and work with multiple banks to find you the right loan that fits your needs. So whether it be down payment or rate, that kind of thing. So also guiding you to work with maybe a local lender because you're more likely to get your offer accepted. But, at the end of the day, you have to feel comfortable in what lender you choose. So we always recommend that you talk to more than one and just kind of guiding you through that process.
Yeah. And there are certain, not all lenders are created equal. And just like realtors, every realtor has a different style. Maybe one's going to advise you more than this one over here. One may be more committed than, I don't know. But the lenders do the same thing. And so there's certain lenders that I will refer, like if I have a first time home buyer, they're not sure if they can afford, they want to know the different options, like they need more financial advising, I would say, then there's certain lenders that really dive deep with the client. And you can rely on your realtor to connect you with the right type of lender in that sense, like the individual, the personality,
right?
On top of combined with
Exactly.
a good lending company.
Exactly. No,
gotta have both.
Matching them up. It's like swipe right, swipe left on your lender.
No, you guys aren't that disposable. Just kidding.
Oh, the lenders? No,
Yeah.
I just meant like personality matching type thing.
No, I know.
Exactly. No, that sounded bad.
It did. That's okay.
Okay, what's number 5?
So the 5th thing that your realtor should be doing well is knowing how to write a winning offer, because they can help you find the home, they can show you the home, they can tell you all the things, but they also need to be educated on, in a multiple offer situation, how to get your offer, how to make it stand out and be the best offer possible for you. And even if you're the only offer on the table, it's still important to know how to write a good offer.
Right. You
That's
want
gonna
to,
be
you want your
clear.
agent to be professional. You don't want the
Yes.
listing agent to have a bunch of questions that they are, or boxes that aren't checked
Yep.
and things that are left undone. And that happens a lot because it's very complex. I mean, the purchase
Oh, yeah.
agreement is 16 pages right now.
Yep.
There are a lot of details that need to be
Yes.
handled. And so rather than doing counter offers back and forth, and just have a nice clean offer, puts the seller in a good mood, puts
Yep.
the listing agent in a good mood, and just, makes them feel like the offer is going to go smooth. If you
Right.
leave a bunch of stuff out, unchecked boxes,
Yep.
didn't write it correctly, have to rewrite it, it just doesn't start your offer out on the right foot.
No. I think as you're talking, I was kind of thinking of what are the different parts of being able to write a good offer. And I just thought of a few. So one, a good lender. The realtor needs to know a good lender to connect you with. We went over that. They need to be able to write a clean offer. They need to know how to write the offer in the first place. So if they're brand new, hopefully they have a mentor helping them with that. Cause like you said, it's not the easiest process. 3, they need to know how to write a winning offer. And they also need to have, ideally, a good relationship with the listing agent, because in a town like this, I do think that comes into play. Like, I don't know, I've had agents tell me, I want to work with you because I know you're going to get it done. And they probably say that to you too. It's like, I know, like if you and I work together, we're going to figure out stuff. We're going to strategize. We're not going to call the other agent yelling at them about whatever their client said or wants to do. It's like, no, we're all on the same team. We're trying to get this to the closing
We all want the same
table.
end result.
All want the
buyer,
same
the
end
seller,
result.
and both the agents.
Yes. So it's important, especially in a multiple offer situation, that you are professional to work with from the
That was a
opposite
good one.
end.
Yep.
So
That was 5 things just under number 5
right?
of the 5.
There's 4 things under number 5.
Was it? I thought it was 5.
I'm sure there's one I'm missing there. But. Okay.
All right. So those are the 5 things that you need to make sure that your realtor is doing to help you find your dream home.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thanks, everyone.